The mysterious arrival. On an ordinary evening in the small coastal town of Seabourn, something strange happened that would change the lives of many. The sun was setting, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink, when a bright light appeared high above the sea. People in the town, who were used to calm days and quiet nights, suddenly found themselves looking up at the sky in wonder and fear. The light was not like any star or airplane they had seen before. It shone with a steady glow and moved slowly across the sky, almost as if it had a purpose. The local fishermen, returning from their day's work, stopped their boats and stared. The elders of Seabourn, who had seen many odd things in their long lives, whispered to each other that this might be a sign of something important. In the town square, the news spread quickly. A small group of residents gathered around the old clock tower to discuss the mysterious sight. Among them was a young man named Alex, known for his curious mind and brave heart. Alex had always felt that there was more to life than the quiet routine of Seabourn, and tonight, his heart beat faster as he listened to the excited chatter of his neighbors. The light in the sky slowly grew brighter and began to descend towards the ocean. Waves of worry and excitement mixed in the minds of the townspeople. Alex decided that he must learn more about this strange event. He gathered a small group of friends and set off towards the beach. They moved quietly, their steps filled with both hope and uncertainty as they followed the light along the shoreline. When the group reached the water, they were met with a sight that took their breath away. Far out at sea, there was an enormous object. It looked like a massive ship made of shining metal, its surface glinting in the last rays of the setting sun. The ship was unlike any boat they had ever seen. Its design was simple, yet powerful, and it carried an air of mystery. The closer the ship came, the more the group could see details that made it clear this was no ordinary vessel. Strange symbols were etched into its metal sides, and the hum of its engines filled the air with a soft, constant vibration. The ship moved slowly but steadily towards the shore. As it neared, the water around it began to change. The calm sea turned a little choppier, as if nature itself was reacting to the arrival of this mighty craft. The people on the beach felt a mix of fear and hope. Some believed the ship might bring danger, while others thought it could be a sign of strength and new beginnings for humankind. Alex watched with wide eyes as the ship finally came to a gentle stop near the harbor. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The light from the ship cast long shadows on the sand, and a strange, peaceful silence filled the air. It was as if the ship had not come to harm the town but to bring a message. The next few minutes were filled with hushed conversations and shared glances among the onlookers. The town's leaders soon gathered, and plans were quickly made to meet the mysterious arrival. While many were scared, a deep feeling of anticipation grew among the people. They wondered if this ship was the answer to old legends, stories passed down from generations that spoke of a great power that would one day rise to lead humankind. As the night grew darker, the mysterious ship continued to glow softly, its presence filling the harbor with an eerie yet comforting light. Alex felt a strong pull toward the ship. He believed that this was not a chance occurrence but a sign that destiny was at work. In his heart, he knew that this ship, with its unknown origin and strange design, was a symbol of hope. It reminded him that sometimes, in the midst of everyday life, extraordinary events could occur that changed the course of history. Back in Seabourn, families gathered in their homes, discussing the event with a mix of wonder and worry. Children who usually slept with dreams of far-off lands now imagined the ship as a hero in their bedtime stories. The elders spoke of ancient tales where metal and might came together to form a force for good, protecting people in times of need. All around, the simple lives of the townspeople were filled with a new kind of energy, a shared belief that something important was about to begin. The ship's slow approach had already started to unite the community in a way that nothing else could. Alex, along with his friends and many other brave souls, knew that this was just the beginning. The mysterious arrival had stirred something deep within them, a desire to discover the truth and to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The ship, with its impressive form and gentle glow, had become a beacon of possibility in a world that often seemed ordinary and predictable. Uncovering the truth. When the first light of dawn touched Seabourn, the mysterious ship was still anchored at the harbor. The people of the town were filled with questions and concerns. Among them, Alex felt a strong need to uncover the truth behind the strange vessel. With the memory of last night's glowing arrival fresh in his mind, he gathered his closest friends and set out to investigate the secrets that the ship might hold. Alex led his small group along the quiet docks, where the gentle lapping of the water mixed with the soft creaks of the old pier. Their hearts pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. Even though many in Seabourn were hesitant, Alex believed that understanding the ship could bring hope rather than fear. As they approached the side of the warship, they noticed something unusual on its metal surface. Faint, intricate symbols were etched along its side. They looked ancient, as if they were carved by hands that had long been forgotten. Curious, Alex reached out and gently traced one of the symbols with his fingertips. The design was unlike anything he had seen before, a simple yet powerful pattern that seemed to speak of unity, strength, and a history lost in time. His friends gathered around, and together they discussed what the markings might mean. Some thought the symbols were a form of language, a message from those who built the ship. Others believed that these marks were a way of signing their work, a claim that this ship was made for a higher purpose. Determined to learn more, Alex and his friends decided to search the area around the harbor. They split into small groups, looking for any clue that could explain the ship's origin. In a quiet corner of the town, hidden among old ruins and weathered stone, they found an odd broken piece of metal. It was similar in texture and design to the warship's hull. The piece had the same mysterious symbols carved into it. This discovery gave Alex hope that the ship was connected to the town's past, perhaps even to legends that had been told by the elders. Word of these discoveries spread quickly. Soon, the town's historian, Mr. Jenkins, joined Alex's investigation. With a careful eye, Mr. Jenkins explained that the symbols might be linked to ancient tales of a time when humanity was strong and united against great challenges. He recalled stories of an empire that had once thrived on courage and honor, a time when warriors were known for their iron will and unwavering valor. According to these legends, a great warship was built to protect the people during moments of crisis. Although the stories had faded into myth, the evidence now pointed toward a connection between those old legends and the mysterious ship that had appeared at their harbor. As the day went on, Alex and his friends uncovered more clues. They found old maps and faded drawings in the town's library that depicted a similar warship. The illustrations were simple, drawn in basic lines and shapes, yet they showed a vessel of great strength, one that was meant to lead humanity in times of need. With each new piece of evidence, the idea that the ship was not a mere accident, but a sign of destiny, grew stronger. The investigation took an unexpected turn when a local fisherman, Mr. Rivera, approached the group. With a shaky voice, he told them about a strange night many years ago, when a bright light had once lit up the sky, much like the one they saw last night. Mr. Rivera recalled that his father had spoken of a hidden treasure, a secret that lay beneath the waves, guarded by an ancient promise of protection. This account added a layer of mystery and urgency to the investigation. If the ship was indeed linked to those old legends, then perhaps it was here to fulfill a promise made long ago. Alex's determination only grew stronger. He organized a meeting with the town leaders, sharing all the clues and evidence they had gathered. The room buzzed with a mixture of fear and excitement as he presented the strange symbols, the broken metal piece, and the ancient maps. While some remained cautious, many saw this as a chance to rediscover a part of their history that had been lost. The ship, they began to believe, was not an omen of doom, but a call to remember the power of unity and courage. That evening, as the sun set once again over Seabourn, Alex sat by the harbor, reflecting on all that had been discovered. The ship, with its silent strength, now appeared as a guardian rather than a threat. In his heart, Alex felt that this was only the beginning of a much larger story, a story of rediscovery, of the enduring human spirit, and of a destiny that was written long before any of them were born. As the night deepened, the town of Seabourn buzzed with new hope and questions. What exactly was the purpose of the ship? Who built it? And why had it returned now? These mysteries would need to be solved, and Alex vowed to lead the search for answers. In the soft glow of the moon, with the warship looming large against the dark water, Seabourn braced itself for the journey into its own forgotten past. A journey that promised to reveal the truth behind the symbols and to remind everyone that sometimes the smallest clues can unlock the greatest secrets. The call to action. As the sun rose over Seabourn the next day, the town was far from returning to its normal quiet routine. The mysterious ship had sparked a fire in the hearts of its people, and soon whispers of a great destiny began to fill every street and home. In the town hall, a small group of community leaders gathered, determined to decide on a course of action. Among them was Alex, whose passion and clear vision had already united many of his neighbors. Alex stood at the front of the room, with a simple map spread on the wooden table. He pointed to the location of the ship and to the strange symbols they had found on its side. "This ship," he said in a calm, confident voice, "is not here to bring harm. It is a sign that our past and our future are connected. We have been called to act." The room filled with murmurs of agreement and some doubtful whispers. While a few people were still afraid of the unknown, many felt that the ship was a promise of strength and hope. Alex's words were like a spark, igniting the hearts of those who longed for a change in their simple lives. Across the town, word of the town hall meeting spread quickly. Families sat together at breakfast tables, discussing what Alex had said the night before. Some remembered the old legends of their ancestors, the stories of heroes who defended the town in times of danger. Those stories, once thought to be myths, now took on a new meaning. The idea of joining together to face a common challenge was both frightening and exciting. In the busy streets, local shopkeepers closed their stores early to join the meeting. Even Mr. Rivera, the fisherman who had shared his memories of the mysterious light, came forward with his own recollections. He spoke of old times when the town was united against great dangers. "I remember my father telling me," Mr. Rivera said quietly, "that in times of darkness we must stand together, for there is always a light waiting to guide us." His words added weight to the discussion and slowly convinced the more fearful residents that this was a moment to rise together. After a long discussion, the town leaders decided on a plan. They would send a group of brave volunteers to learn more about the ship, to see if it could help protect Seabourn. Alex was chosen to lead this group. His friends, who had already proven their courage by investigating the ship, volunteered to join him. They prepared simple tools, some basic maps, and a small lantern for the evening journeys along the harbor. As the group set off, the town came together to support them. Families offered food, and elders shared old stories of hope and unity. It was clear that this call to action was not just about the mysterious ship, but about awakening the spirit of the community. The citizens of Seabourn began to see themselves as part of something larger, a movement that could bring back the strength and unity of their ancestors. Alex and his team moved slowly along the harbor, careful not to disturb the gentle hum of the warship that had now become a silent guardian. The ship's metal surface, covered in the strange symbols, seemed to hold a secret that was waiting to be discovered. With each step, Alex's resolve grew stronger. He believed that understanding the ship and its origin would help the town face any challenge that lay ahead. During their investigation, the group encountered small but significant clues. Near the base of the ship, they found a metal panel that looked like a control board. Though it was old and covered in dust, the panel's design was neat and careful, hinting at advanced knowledge hidden beneath a simple exterior. Alex carefully noted every detail in his small notebook, determined to piece together the ship's history. As the day went on, the volunteers found themselves drawn into a mystery that was much larger than they had expected. They discovered that the ship's presence was more than a random event. It was a call for action from a time when people had believed in the power of unity and bravery. Each clue they uncovered made it clearer that the ship was meant to remind the town of the strength they held together. Back in the town hall, the leaders listened eagerly to updates from the team. The meeting was filled with hope, and the people began planning ways to prepare themselves for any challenge. They organized training sessions, shared old tactics from historic battles, and even started repairing parts of the old harbor that had long been neglected. The town was slowly transforming from a place of quiet resignation to a community ready to stand together. By evening, the message was clear. Seabourn was ready to awaken its long-dormant spirit of resilience. Alex and his team were no longer just volunteers. They had become the beacon of hope for the whole town. The call to action had united them, and every person in Seabourn felt that they were part of something important. As night fell, the mysterious ship glowed softly in the harbor, a constant reminder of the promise it held. The citizens of Seabourn went to sleep that night with hearts filled with determination and minds open to the possibility of a new beginning. The call to action had been answered, and with it came a promise that the spirit of unity and courage would guide them into the future. The Warship emerges. In the quiet hours of early morning, when the town of Seabourn was still waking up, a new, breathtaking sight unfolded at the harbor. The mysterious ship, which had held its silent watch all night, began to move. Its massive form stirred the calm waters, and for the first time since its arrival, the ship showed its full strength and purpose. The sky was a soft blue, barely touched by the morning sun, when the ship started its slow, deliberate glide toward the town. The metal of its hull, once just a shadowy outline against the night, now shone like polished silver. The strange symbols that had been carved into its sides became more visible, each mark telling a silent story of ancient skill and long-forgotten purpose. Alex and his team, along with many curious townspeople, gathered at the edge of the dock. They watched in hushed awe as the vessel moved closer. The ship was vast, its length stretching out as if it were a floating fortress. The low hum of its engines, felt more than heard, vibrated through the wooden planks of the pier. With each slow movement, the ship exuded an air of both power and calm. It was as if the warship was not here to wage war, but to remind the people of Seabourn of a legacy of strength and unity. As the ship approached the harbor, the water around it began to ripple more fiercely. The gentle lapping of the waves turned into a steady, rhythmic pulse, echoing the beating of hearts filled with hope and anticipation. The townspeople exchanged glances, their earlier fears giving way to a feeling of unity. They saw the ship as a sign, a symbol that, in the face of uncertainty, human spirit and determination could shine through. On board the ship, unseen by the crowd, something remarkable was taking place. Lights flickered along its sides, moving in patterns that seemed to match the ancient symbols. A soft glow emerged from the ship's core, illuminating the deck and casting long, mysterious shadows over the water. It was as though the ship was coming to life, awakening from a long sleep to fulfill a promise that had been written in the stars. The moment was filled with both wonder and tension. Alex, standing at the front of the crowd, felt a surge of emotion. This was the turning point he had hoped for. The warship was no longer just an object of mystery. It had become a beacon of hope. In its graceful movement, it promised protection and strength. The ship's emergence was a clear message to the people of Seabourn. That help had arrived in a time of need, and that the ancient call for unity was being answered. As the ship settled into a stable position near the harbor, the townspeople began to see more details. The structure of the vessel was simple yet elegant. Its design was not like any modern warship, but rather a blend of old-world craftsmanship and futuristic ideas. The sharp lines of the hull, the carefully placed windows, and the gentle curve of the deck all spoke of a time when art and function were one and the same. Every detail seemed meant to inspire awe, as if the ship was a moving monument to the resilience of humanity. In the midst of this unfolding spectacle, a feeling of calm determination spread through the crowd. The initial shock was replaced by a collective realization that this was a moment of destiny. Local leaders, who had been debating the meaning of the ship's arrival, now saw it as a call to protect their home and to remember the strength of their ancestors. The warship, with its steady glow and majestic presence, was a tangible reminder that in unity there is power. Children, who had been listening to bedtime stories of ancient heroes and brave warriors, now saw a living example of those tales before their very eyes. Their eyes shone with excitement as they whispered among themselves about the adventures that might follow. Parents, too, felt a rekindling of hope, a belief that the long days of uncertainty might soon give way to a future filled with promise and courage. The warship's emergence did more than light up the harbor. It ignited something deep within every person in Seabourn. It was as if the ship carried with it the memories of past heroes and the dreams of future victories. With its arrival, the town felt connected to a larger story, a narrative that spanned generations and continents. The ship was a messenger from a time when humans faced great challenges and overcame them with unity, strength, and a clear sense of purpose. As the morning grew brighter, the silence around the harbor was filled with a renewed sense of possibility. The mysterious warship, now fully present, had transformed from an object of fear into a symbol of protection and rebirth. The people of Seabourn stood together, ready to embrace the future. They knew that the journey ahead might be filled with unknown challenges, but with the warship as their guide, they felt more prepared than ever to face what lay ahead. In that peaceful yet powerful moment, the ship's emergence marked the dawn of a new chapter. The warship was not a harbinger of destruction, but a promise that even in troubled times, hope could arise from the unlikeliest of places. And so, as Seabourn awakened to a day filled with light and promise, the people carried with them the belief that together, with iron will and human valor, they could shape a future where courage and unity reigned supreme. The Great Confrontation. As the town of Seabourn grew more confident in the ship's presence, a dark shadow began to loom on the horizon. Rumors of an approaching threat had been whispered ever since the warship's arrival, and now those whispers turned into a sound that chilled every heart. It started with a low rumble far in the distance, a sound that was not made by the sea or by the gentle hum of the mysterious ship. Instead, it was the ominous noise of an unknown force, drawing near with each passing moment. Alex and his team, who had spent the last few days uncovering clues and uniting the town, were now faced with a new and pressing danger. They gathered at the town hall once more, where worried faces met determined eyes. The leaders of Seabourn knew that the warship was more than a symbol of hope. It was also a call to stand together against any threat. In a hurried meeting, they agreed that a group of brave souls had to prepare to defend their home. Outside the hall, the wind began to pick up, carrying with it an eerie chill. The sea, which had been calm since the warship's arrival, grew rough and restless. Waves crashed harder against the docks, echoing the pounding hearts of the townspeople. Alex stood on the steps of the hall and addressed the gathered crowd in a calm but firm voice. "We have seen the strength of our past in this ship. Now, we must use that strength to protect our future. We face a great danger, but together, with iron and valor, we will stand strong." The dark sound on the horizon grew louder, and soon, dark shapes emerged from the swirling mists. These shapes were not like the gentle curves of the warship. They were sharp, aggressive, and filled with an unsettling energy. It quickly became clear that an unknown fleet was approaching, vessels that looked designed for destruction rather than protection. Their looming silhouettes, painted against the angry sky, sent shivers down the spines of everyone present. The invaders, clad in cold metal and harsh designs, did not come with words. Instead, their arrival was marked by the flash of strange lights and the sharp clanging of metal against metal. The leader of Seabourn's defenders, Alex, felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Alongside him were his closest friends and a brave band of volunteers, all ready to face this great confrontation. The warship, which had been a silent guardian until now, began to stir. Its engines roared to life with a deep, resonant sound that mingled with the chaos around the harbor. The ship's lights blazed, and the symbols on its side glowed with an almost mystical intensity. It was as if the ancient power carved into its very being was awakened by the coming storm. The ship moved forward, taking its place as the leader of Seaborn's defense. On the other side of the harbor, the approaching vessels closed in. They circled like predatory birds, their intent clear in the aggressive way they moved. The invading force seemed to have one goal: to dominate and conquer. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow down as both sides locked eyes. The town's defenders, fueled by a long-held hope and a new surge of unity, prepared for the clash. The first wave of confrontation was sudden. Small craft from the enemy fleet surged forward, aiming to breach the harbor and sow chaos among the people. With swift coordination, Alex's team moved into action. They took positions along the docks and around the warship, using simple weapons and homemade shields. Every person, from the youngest volunteer to the eldest sailor, understood that the safety of Seaborn rested on their shoulders. The warship itself became the centerpiece of the defense. Its advanced systems, hidden behind a simple exterior, activated automatically to form a protective barrier around the town. With powerful beams of light and energy, it repelled the enemy's first attacks. The clash of metal and the bright flashes of energy lit up the darkened harbor. The sounds of struggle, the shouts of defenders, the groaning of metal, and the roaring of engines filled the air. Despite their fear, the people of Seaborn fought with the determination of those who have nothing left to lose. They remembered the old legends of heroes who stood against impossible odds, and now they lived those legends. Alex, standing at the forefront, directed his team with steady commands. Each successful defense against the enemy craft built the town's confidence, while every close call deepened their resolve. The confrontation was fierce and unyielding. Enemy ships attempted to circle around and attack from different angles, but the defenders adapted quickly. They worked together, passing information along the docks and using every resource available to protect their home. The warship's advanced technology played a crucial role, creating safe zones and repelling the enemy with bursts of light and force. In the midst of the battle, a turning point came when Alex noticed that the enemy vessels began to falter under the coordinated defense. The mysterious warship, with its ancient strength and modern power, had become the heart of Seaborn's resistance. The enemy's aggressive moves slowed, and a sense of hope began to replace the initial fear among the townspeople. By the time the dark shapes on the horizon started to retreat, the defenders of Seaborn had proven that unity and courage could overcome even the greatest threats. The harbor, though scared by the conflict, stood as a testament to the town's spirit. In that intense hour of confrontation, the people had learned that when faced with darkness, the light of hope and solidarity could shine the brightest. As the enemy retreated into the mists, silence fell over the harbor. The battle was not over, but the victory in that moment was clear. Seaborn had defended its home, and in doing so, had awakened a strength that would guide it through future challenges. The warship, still glowing with a gentle, powerful light, remained as a symbol of the town's promise to stand together in the face of all danger. Iron will and human spirit. In the aftermath of the fierce battle, Seaborn's defenders gathered around the warship, still aglow with a soft, protective light. The clash had been hard, and scars marked the harbor, but in the quiet that followed, the true strength of the people shone through. Every heart in the town beat with a renewed sense of purpose, and the battle had only deepened their belief in the power of unity. Alex and his team, tired yet determined, took a moment to assess the situation. The enemy had been pushed back for now, but there were still signs that more challenges could come. In the midst of this uncertainty, the warship stood as a beacon of hope and resilience. Its lights flickered gently, as if it were breathing along with the people of Seaborn, offering silent support. The vessel was more than metal and technology. It was a symbol of the unyielding human spirit. As night settled once more over the town, Small groups of people came together around campfires to share their stories of bravery during the confrontation. Elderly residents recalled how, in times of old, people had faced hardships with courage and compassion. Their tales, simple yet full of life, reminded everyone that the heart of Seaborn had always been strong. Children listened wide-eyed, absorbing every word, knowing that these stories were the foundation upon which their future would be built. Alex walked through the town, speaking with people who had taken part in the defense. He listened to their fears, their hopes, and their dreams for a safer tomorrow. One fisherman, hands still trembling from the adrenaline of battle, spoke softly about the night when he had seen neighbors risk everything to save one another. His words, though few, resonated with the gathered crowd, echoing the idea that true strength comes from caring for each other. The warship, too, played its part in inspiring the town. As the battle raged outside the town limits earlier that day, it had used beams of light to create safe zones, pushing back the enemy with a force that was both gentle and unyielding. In the calm moments after the confrontation, its presence reminded everyone that even the mightiest forces of nature and technology were no match for the human will. It was a lesson that every resident of Seaborn began to understand. In the face of adversity, it was the spirit of the people, steady, brave, and united, that would always prevail. In the following days, the town set about healing its wounds. Buildings were repaired, and the harbor was cleared of debris. But more importantly, the people rebuilt the trust and camaraderie that had seen them through the great confrontation. They organized training sessions to prepare for any future threat, sharing techniques that were passed down through generations. Simple tools and basic strategies were discussed in open meetings, ensuring that every voice in Seaborn felt empowered to protect their home. Alex spent long hours with the town's historian, Mr. Jenkins, and other elders, piecing together the meaning of the symbols on the warship. They discovered that these marks were not just signs of a forgotten past, but also a call to action, a reminder that courage and unity were timeless. The symbols, once mysterious and enigmatic, now stood for something clear, that when people come together, even the toughest challenges can be overcome with an iron will and a compassionate heart. The spirit of the town began to take shape in small yet powerful ways. Neighbors shared meals and stories, their simple words binding them closer than ever before. In classrooms, teachers explained the events of the past few days in simple language, ensuring that the next generation understood the importance of unity and resilience. The warship, still anchored near the harbor, was no longer seen as an oddity. It was embraced as a part of the community's identity, a physical reminder of the promise of hope. As dusk fell one evening, Alex climbed the steps of the town's old lighthouse for a quiet moment of reflection. Looking out over Seaborn, he saw not a town on the brink of despair, but a community reborn through its trials. The challenges they had faced had revealed a deeper truth, that every person held within them the capacity for bravery and kindness. It was this inner strength, a combination of iron will and human spirit, that would guide them forward, regardless of what the future might hold. In that serene moment, the warship's gentle glow reached out across the water, mirroring the light that now burned in every heart in Seaborn. The battle had been won, but the journey was far from over. The true victory lay in the unity and determination that had been forged in the heat of conflict, a victory that would continue to inspire and protect the town for many years to come. And so, with hearts full of hope and minds set on the future, the people of Seaborn embraced the lessons of the past. They understood that true strength was not measured by the power of their weapons or the size of their defenses, but by the courage to stand together, to rise after every fall, and to believe in the endless potential of the human spirit. A new dawn. As the days turned into weeks, the town of Seaborn began to heal both its wounds and its spirit. The battle was over, and the memory of the great confrontation slowly turned into a story of hope and unity. Every corner of the town now whispered of a new beginning, a new dawn brought about by the courage and determination of its people. In the morning light, the warship still anchored at the harbor shone with a soft, steady glow. It had become more than just a vessel. It was a symbol of all that Seabourn had overcome. The once quiet harbor now buzzed with activity as citizens worked together to repair damaged buildings, clear debris, and restore the docks. Neighbors shared tools, food, and kind words, their hands busy with work, and their hearts lifted by a shared purpose. Alex, now seen as a local hero, took on the role of a guide and teacher. He organized small gatherings where people of all ages could learn about the events that had taken place. In these meetings, he spoke in simple, clear language about how unity and bravery had turned the tide of battle. He reminded everyone that while the warship had come from a mysterious past, its true power lay in the human spirit that it had awakened. His words, filled with hope and conviction, helped every person in Seabourn see that the future was theirs to shape. The town's elders, who had passed down legends of old, began to share their wisdom once more. They told tales of ancient warriors and wise leaders, drawing parallels between those timeless stories and the struggles the town had just endured. The lessons of the past, once thought to be distant myths, now shone brightly as guiding lights. Families gathered around old fires and listened intently, knowing that these stories were a bridge between history and the new path they were forging together. In the schoolrooms, teachers found new ways to inspire their students. They used the recent events as lessons in history, community, and resilience. Simple projects were set up where children could draw pictures of the warship, write about the bravery of their neighbors, and imagine the adventures that still lay ahead. The classroom walls, once plain and unadorned, soon filled with colorful depictions of a future where every challenge could be met with courage. The harbor itself transformed into a hub of hope and promise. Local craftsmen and builders began to repair old structures, and new plans were drawn up for a community center where the town could meet and celebrate together. This center, built from the hard work and shared dreams of many, was to be a place where the lessons of the past and the aspirations of the future could meet. It was a testament to the belief that through cooperation and understanding, even the deepest scars could be healed. Even the warship seemed to participate in this new era. Its presence was no longer a reminder of past dangers, but a constant beacon of what could be achieved when people came together. At times, its lights danced softly on the water, as if celebrating the renewed life around it. The ship had turned from a mysterious object into a guardian, a steadfast friend that watched over Seabourn as it moved confidently into the future. In quiet moments by the shore, residents would sit and gaze out over the water. They spoke of dreams that had been rekindled and of futures that now seemed bright and full of promise. The sounds of laughter, the chatter of neighbors, and the gentle lapping of the waves filled the air with a melody of hope. For many, this was the start of a new chapter in life, one where fear had been replaced by a shared belief in the strength of community. As dusk fell on a bright new day, the entire town gathered for a celebration by the harbor. Under a sky painted with hues of purple and gold, everyone joined hands and shared stories of the past, the struggle they had overcome, and the bright future they were determined to build. There were psalms of praise for the warship and for the heroes of Seabourn, both young and old, who had stepped forward when it mattered most. The celebration was simple, yet every smile, every shared laugh, and every tear of gratitude spoke of a truth that resonated deep within each person, that hope, unity, and the human spirit are the strongest forces of all. The people of Seabourn understood now that even in the face of darkness, a new dawn could always break through. In that gentle twilight, as the town of Seabourn looked toward tomorrow, it did so with a deep, unshakable belief that together, with iron will and pure heart, they could overcome any challenge. The warship, the ancient call, and the bravery of its people had woven a new story, a story that would be told for generations, inspiring all who heard it to believe in the power of unity and the promise of a new dawn.